What is happening, you guys? Welcome back to the Let's Go Win podcast. And this is the show where we are on a mission to help people be happy, healthy, wealthy. And the guest that we have on today, she is absolutely going to support that. I mean, just off air, we were talking about do what you say you're going to do. She's on an incredible water fast, which I'll let her talk about. She helps people really elevate their state of awareness, consciousness, and just overall being is really the feel I get from her. Mahima is an international best-selling author, award-winning speaker, and self-mastery mentor. She's the founder of the Mahima Mindset, a personal growth academy that helps people find and live their higher purpose. She has spoken at prestigious events and companies such as the Harvard Club of Boston, Google, and UBS Bank, and has received multiple awards for her trainings in meditation and mindfulness. She has a strong background in meditation and has helped transform the lives of thousands of people. And I know that to be true, Mahima. You are incredible because did you say day 16 of this water fast?
Absolutely, day 16, but don't try this at home. Okay, I've done this many times. And you need time for this. You need to really listen to your body. It's a great opportunity to really reset and give your body an opportunity to do the healing processes that can happen when it's not dealing with digesting and food. So there's a whole science to the whole thing. So you don't want to just stop eating. So please don't do that. But yes, I'm on day 16. I have done up to 18 in the past, but I've many times done 14 days. It's also a mind empowerment tool as well, right? Because you realize how much resources we have inside of us with very little, right? Because the mind would go, no, I need food. And when you do these type of things, you realize that when you are, in commune with your inner power and spirit, you need less of everything. Right. So it's such a way to clear your mind and connect powerfully to your soul. So I really love to use this as a practice. And I used to do it a lot. And then for about 7 years or so, I didn't do it because I moved into menopause. My menopause women out in the house, y'all. And my body just was saying, hell no. Okay. And then recently, the lady invited me, she was going to do it. And I thought, you know what, I'd love to give this a go again. So here I am on it. I'm absolutely loving it. I actually was going to do it for 14 days. And I felt so amazing that I didn't want to stop. I was like, no, I need more of this. So I've extended it till 18 days, but I know that that's going to be it because you just want to go on because you feel so amazing.
Yeah. And what's so cool, and this is why this conversation is going to be incredible, because off air we were immediately riffing and I'm like, oh, this is amazing. But you said a couple things that I think are just so profound. One is our bodies are wildly intuitive. They actually will tell you exactly what they need if you're willing to listen. And I think so often because we're clouded with other things, we're not really looking inside, we miss these signs. And then we resort to, I guess, what would be a lot of times modern medicine, 21st century stuff, when the truth is we've been operating these bodies for a long time pretty successfully if we just listen to them. And you said it, the mind is so much controlling, like, oh, I'm hungry. Well, are you? Can you go a little longer? And that's what I think is awesome. And off air, you said something. You said, I'm going to see it through because I love doing what I say I'm going to do. My favorite saying maybe in the world is what you said. And I was telling you about growing my hair and how I'm like, oh man, this isn't what I want to do, but I committed to it. So I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. Talk to me about that idea of just really being able to control the mind, be more in tuned, and self-aware of what our thoughts are doing with us.
Absolutely. This is one of the most beautiful things you can invest in learning, how to get out of the prison of your mind. Because sadly, most of us haven't been taught that. We've been taught that the mind is our most prized possession And we need to spend a lot of time thinking about our future, thinking about what we want, thinking about what we're doing, thinking about where we're going, think, right? And one thing that I've discovered along my personal growth journey is to stop thinking and the power inside of that, right? Now, a lot of people are like, oh, I can't stop my thoughts, Mahima, there's no way, okay? But the thing is, that's not what you look for in the beginning when you're training this. What you look for in the beginning is to become self-aware, right? To be able to sit with yourself, to be with yourself, and accept your thoughts, accept your feelings, and not feel like, oh my God, I'm going to go crazy if I just sit here and listen to myself, right? It's like creating this beautiful relationship with yourself where you really get to know yourself. I call it self-love. It's about spending time with you to just get to know, what am I thinking? What belief systems are operating inside of this beautiful mind, right? What are those belief systems doing to me emotionally? How do they affect how I'm feeling every day, right? So it's just taking that time to get to know yourself, to spend time with yourself, to pour attention and love into you. And as you do that, as you are willing to just sit and allow yourself to listen, you will start to hear what I call stillness. You'll start to feel more still, right? Because thoughts can only go so far. They come and go, they come and go. And at one point, they start to come and go a bit more slowly, a bit less. And at one point, you feel that calm, right? And that stillness. But it is a training to get used of, if you're used of escaping in this modern day into, entertainment, conversations, mobile phones, So sitting with yourself feels like, why would you do that? Right?
Yeah. And what's so fascinating to me is I think people would initially say what you said, like, if I sit there and just hear my thoughts, I'm going to go crazy. But I think it's so much the opposite. You are listening to your thoughts. You are thinking about all of these things that are going to happen. I see this all the time with coaching clients. I'm so consumed and focused and worried about what is going to happen. And 80% of the time, none of that happens. So you're trying to create this false narrative, this false reality. You're worrying about stuff that doesn't even exist instead of just surrendering to the fact that just allow things to come to you. I'm not saying it's easy. And like you said, there's a training to it. But I'll tell you what, even somebody that's meditated a lot, like I have, not probably to your level, but I mean, I've spent a lot of time. I can quickly get back into that monkey mind, if you will, or that too much is coming at me. So what is the thought there, Mahima, in terms of practice? Is it meditating daily? Is it being intentional about what we're trying to do? What would you say to somebody that's just starting this journey that really wants to look inward and wants that calm and peace, I would say?
I would say find a teacher. You're not going to be able to do this by yourself. Okay. If you're really interested, if you're like, that the Zen that people talk about, that, oh, inner peace, I love myself, I feel really comfortable in my own skin, I trust my voice, I can express myself, you need a teacher. You need someone who's gone there, who's holding that space, and who can tell you exactly how to accomplish it. And then you go faster, right? I didn't find all of this stuff just because I'm a genius and I just woke up one day and, I felt more peaceful. I found people came into my life and I said, yes, 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 yes. This is the message that I have been waiting to hear because I felt it in my soul. Everything lit up when I was in the presence of these teachers, right? And then also the second thing that's very helpful is that these teachers, or any teacher you go with, has a community and a tribe in which you can also immerse yourself in the teachings, the philosophy, the idea. So you're not alone, like, with these new ideas, right? So you have other people who are maybe slightly further than where you are because they're like, yeah, I remember when I first arrived here, I was like, this seems really hard. I've only been doing this for 6 months and I've cracked open so much. I feel so much more peace, so much more joy in my daily life. So then you have that feedback of other people that have gone through what you're going through that can hold the space, and you can form even more trust and have accountability.
Yeah. And what's interesting to me is I said the word surrender, which is a really important word in my world. It's brought so much peace, clarity, and opportunities because I wasn't trying to control the narrative. I wasn't trying to control the situation. However, I would also say there's a bit of manifesting this to you so that these people do show up. So it's, to me, it's not haphazard. I don't think that this just happens. That's my opinion. People come into our lives and we either recognize this amazing opportunity and we surrender or go to it, or we resist and we're like, nope, not for me. It's bullshit. It's woo-woo, whatever thing that somebody says. Tell me your thoughts when it comes to manifesting what we're really searching for. So whether that be financial reward, whether that be love, whether that be, I don't know, success, how do you apply that manifestation and surrender? How have you done it, Mahima, in your life?
I love this question. It's so beautiful. So one of the first things I learned is that I'm worthy and I deserve the very best that life has to offer. When I switched into this mode of thinking, things started to rapidly manifest in my life. So I shifted a limiting belief, which is I'm not worthy, I don't deserve this, I don't deserve all this good thing. I move in the world with I deserve the very best that life has to offer on every single level, whether it's friendship, whether it's financial, whether it's relationship. I deserve the very best. And I feel it. You need to feel it in your core. And that's where it's important to do exercises and activations that can get you to experience that. So it's not a thought in your head. I deserve the very best that life has. But you're not feeling it. You're not connected to it, right? So that's where the meditation and the activations and all of this work really gets you to sit in that, where you get to a place which I call the soul connection, where it's just clear that that is the truth. Yeah. And you're not forcing yourself to say it or to repeat it like a mantra where you don't believe it, right? So that's the first thing, to really get into that essence of understanding you deserve the very best. Then it is about understanding that we are living in a friendly universe that is designed to support us. So think about this. When the egg and the sperm come together, it's a design. It's like this, it's designed that way. And from that, boom, there's this womb, which is designed to support your growth, right? And with the right nourishment and the right, it's there, it's happening, you're growing, right? And then this is where there's maybe a design flaw, okay? When a head has to come out of a vagina, okay? That is perhaps a bit of a design, okay? But it's designed, a head is designed to come out of vagina. I don't know how it happens, but it's a miracle, and there you are, okay? And now you're here. Everything in your body is designed to have air, yes, and then there's the sun that creates all of this stuff, that creates food that you can eat. And so it's all part of this design, right? And so you're in this world that is designed to support you grow physically, right? So I believe that there's also an emotional intelligence that is designed to help you create, right? To grow on all levels, not just the physical level, right? To help you grow emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And I think that's why everything is happening for your growth. Even if you don't recognize it in that moment, if you're in that growth mindset, you'll start to understand that, right? So as we are manifesting and we are able to put our ideas out, whatever, even the most crazy ideas, like where you're like, what am I even thinking? That's where they say dream boards, going past your imagination. Your idea if you can hold true to it in that worthiness and in that place of I deserve this, and in that willingness to understand that there will be support coming energetically to create what you want, right? Because it is the design. It is so. It must be so. It is so. And you can test it, test drive this in little manifestations, right? And just stretch your mind, say, what do you want? Like, people come on our campus. I'm like, what would be the really, really cool thing for you to create? And she's like, oh, okay, I would love to, I've been teaching kids and I've been, working on the staff, but I want to manifest the job as the principal. Okay. And I'm like, great. That's an easy one. You're already in the field. You're already doing the thing. You just want to up level. Okay. And then she's like, really? I don't know if that's easy. I've been trying to do this for years. I said, but not working with this concept of worthiness and the concept of my ideas become things. That is just how it works. Everything around us was an idea that manifested because somebody made it happen, but they first had to think it. Boom. Less than a couple of months later, she's getting that offer to do that work. And she's blown away. She's like, it's happening too fast, Mahima. Man. I said, no, sweetheart, it's happening right on time because you've had this dream inside of you for years. And now with this alignment that we helped you create and this understanding, you could bring it in a lot faster. So yes, manifesting is a great tool. It's a great power when you understand how to use it. Yeah.
And one of the things I hope that comes across to the audience, because we haven't talked about your background. I don't know if you came out and you were just this self-aware being and everything was just amazing, zero trauma in Mahima's life. More than likely, that's not the answer. And I'm curious to hear, because I see this often where people are like, oh, that's for lucky people that just, they know they are enlightened somehow. And it's just not the case. And I want people to understand that this is an acquired thing if you can just really have some faith, really let go and do some of these things, such as mindfulness, such as meditate, such as simple breathing, to really be present in the now. You can really start to accelerate, like your friend that did that. It's like, no, it's happening exactly how it's supposed to. You weren't ready to receive it before, but now you are. So Mahima, my question or thought is, you didn't necessarily just come out of the womb and it's like, yep, I know this stuff. I am
no
process.
No, definitely not. And according to my mom, I was quite a rebellious child and therefore needed a lot of disciplining, i.e. code for, mental and emotion and physical abuse, right? Which back in the day was disguised as disciplining, right? But if you, beat a child, very intensively, I think it crosses a line, right? And if you tell a child certain things like you're stupid, you'll never amount to, and I think that's also, so you are crossing some boundaries there, right? So I've definitely experienced, I'm also brought up in Africa with poverty mindset, yes, where my great-grandmother was born in a hut in Africa. We've had the English people that came and took over Zimbabwe and were so there was apartheid, separation of people, segregation. I call it a hate culture, yeah, where people are taught to hate each other and to feel superior. My skin is a little bit lighter than yours, so I'm a little bit better than you. And I stay in the neighborhood with the light-skinned people or the white people, or, and so forth. And so no, there's a lot of messiness here, people, okay? And that's probably why I was drawn to this work in the first place, right? Because you need to be seeking something, even if you're not conscious of it, yeah, to be drawn to this type of work, because first of all, I do think this work comes to you. I was not seeking it. I was not on a mission to find a teacher, learn how to meditate, and transform myself. No, I was on a mission to go to India and just, I heard you could live cheaply over there because, with a little bit of money, you could stretch it and go a long way. That was right in touch with my 23-year-old plans at that moment. I was divorced from my first husband, so I felt very messy and shaky. And a friend said to me, don't go anywhere else. Go there, work on yourself. And I didn't know what this friend meant. I just was attracted to the other pictures he painted about life in India. So I just took a chance. I flew there. And then my journey started in my first ever meditation, where I had an enlightened experience, where and I think anyone can have this. I believe it's your birthright. Inner peace is your birthright. You're not going to be learning something new. It's not, hey, let's teach you something new. It's just allowing yourself, as you beautifully said, to be yourself, to relax, to let go of all the anxiety, not enoughness, mind, let's go, let's do, let's be. When you let all of that go, boom, you just return back to your home, which is centered, grounded, peaceful, loving. I call it the DNA of being human. So this is not something like, oh, only for the big guru people. It's your birthright. You were born with this wisdom inside of you. And unfortunately, because of everything that's happened in society, your focus started to go away from your soul, from your spirit, from your intuitive wisdom, from being playful, curious, light, and all of these lovely things. You see a child, they are in that state. They're very affectionate. They say, I love you. They hug, they laugh, they cry, and then they move on, and then they play again, and they say, I love you, and they hug, and they live in this abundant reality until something, some pain happens, which causes that shift away from that soul connection, right? So this is your birthright. It is your birthright to experience this, to know this. And I believe that anybody who is having an open heart and an open mind can in no time at all go straight and feel this. Now, maintaining this connection, that's a whole other conversation, right? But experiencing it, if you're in the presence of the right teachers, like I experienced it in my first ever meditation. My mind was completely blown. I felt total peace. I was in complete harmony with myself and everything around me. And the feeling was familiar because we drift in and out of this consciousness in our normal life, right? Think about a day when everything was perfect, beautiful, everything, maybe you're at the beach with your family and you just were like, this is the life. And you felt free and happy, right? Those are glimpses of reconnecting back to your soul, right? But now when that happens in a conscious way through meditation, man, that's worth knowing. Yeah.
I love that. It's your birthright. I want everybody to hear that, because if you've been to Zimbabwe, we're talking about one of the most corrupt governments. It's your everything can be taken from you at the snap of a finger, and not an affluent area by any means. And then you're now living in one of the most affluent countries in the world, surrounded by, I would say, not that it's all about money, because it's not, but look, I said happy, healthy, wealthy. A lot of my listeners, they are looking to continue to expand their wealth, not just financially, although that's not a terrible thing to do, but spiritually, emotionally, relationship-wise. So you described going to India. You weren't even clear on it. Then you have this moment, and now you have chosen, I think pretty clearly, I'm going to surround myself with other abundant thinkers. I'm going to surround myself with people that lift me up, challenge me to be better, not with people that beat me down, make me feel like shit, tell me I'm bad. So can you talk to me about your choice in who you surround yourself with, how intentional you are, why you chose to be in the beautiful country you are now. Because I think oftentimes people don't think intentionally about, okay, I'm in a really crappy situation. I'm surrounding myself with people that aren't lifting me up. They're actually pushing me down. They're making me feel small. And instead, you can create this by changing your environment, by being intentional about some of the practices. So can you kind of address that thought, Mahima? Because I see this often with coaching clients. And if it's one thing I want to shake the tree, it's like, you don't have to be around people that suck. You just don't. It's a choice. And I want you to be surrounded by people that push you and love you and support your growth.
Yeah, I love that. Love it, love it, love it. Biggest reason that I've been able to completely, utterly, and totally change the trajectory of the path that I was walking on. Because of my early on childhood stuff that happened to me, I'm 100% convinced that if I hadn't done any of this work, I would be in a very different scenario. And many of my cousins that haven't done this work are in different scenarios, right? So I did have the, let's say you can call it luck, or I don't know. I guess I believe some things are meant to be that way. So I told you about my first husband. He was actually from Switzerland. And when we parted, I actually had the Swiss nationality, right? So one could say, oh yeah, you're very lucky. Oh my God, how lucky you are. You had the Swiss nationality. That's an interesting story. But then I'll tell you another story. My sister, so after I'd had all this awakening in India, chose to be around these amazing people, chose to transform my life, I started to live this extraordinary life where I was being invited all over Europe to teach this wisdom that I'd learned, because I chose to do that. Now, my whole family was saying, come back to Zimbabwe. You know, I had got a little bit of money, wasn't a lot, but for back then, it seemed it was like a huge amount of money, right? But in India, with my lifestyle, it was all fine. But my family was like, you shouldn't be spending that money. You should come to Zimbabwe and buy a house and you know, do this. And I knew with every single ounce of my being that my choices were on point, because it was the first time in my life where I didn't feel like crap. I felt amazing. I was with people we were that were doing this extraordinary alternative lifestyle, which is meaning living by their rules. Okay, breaking the rule book of what you have to follow and who you have to listen to and why you should do it like this and that. And they were just doing their own shit. And I was like, I want to stay in this. I love this. And I want to create that for myself. So one of the first decisions I remember making in my manifestation journey was, I want to be an entrepreneur. I don't want to be employed by anyone. I had no idea how I was going to do this, right? But according to my happiness guru and my teacher, like, you don't need to know the how. You need to know the what. What do you want? Okay. And you need to hold intentional to that what. And then observe the friendly universe, which is designed to support you, bring in opportunities that are aligned with your what. What do you want? Your clarity, right? So as soon as I had that idea, I'm clear, I'm not going back to Zimbabwe. I'm not going to be investing in no houses. I'm not going to go back to, you know, this family issues. I'm going to stay here and learn how to be an entrepreneur. Literally a couple of days later, a friend approached me. One of the things, as you can see, I'm a little bit of a fashionista. I love fashion. She was like, hey, listen, I want to do this clothes business, right? And, you know, with yoga clothes and meditation. Do you want to join me on this? Boom. That was my first entrepreneur thing that literally just came to me. And because I was clear about what I wanted and also clear about what I love, because I believe you can combine those two things, right? To do what you love and make money. So, you know, back then I was totally into fashion. I loved it. And I was like, this is amazing. And so I'd run around creating this fashion line with her. I loved it. And that was my first entrepreneur thing. So I completely believe in the power of clarity. You need clarity about what you want. Whether you believe it's possible or you don't believe it's possible. Doesn't matter. You need to be daring and willing to ask for what you want, right? And there's got to be a soulful reason to that ask. It can't be ego-based. Yeah. I find that that doesn't work so well in the manifesting game, right? It's got to come from these are my values. This is what lights up my soul. And if you combine that with clarity, that's a recipe that's incredible. And I've, as I said, taught this to thousands of people. So I know it works. And coming back, I just want to circle back to my sister, which I mentioned, right? So my sister, she was in an abusive relationship, came to me in a very broken state. At that point, I was already like teaching people and in a very high evolved state. She had a Zimbabwean passport. She had only the clothes on her back, and she had really not much going for her in that moment. She was full of anxiety of her next steps and what she's going to do. And I said to her, listen, my love, if you continue operating in that space, you're only going to create more disaster, more problems, right? And she'd been a very successful person in Zimbabwe. I want to let you guys all know that, right? So she'd had multiple businesses, beautiful house, beautiful cars, lots of good things. However, because of that trauma and pain inside of her, she attracted a man into her life, which was very toxic, okay? And through that toxic relationship, she lost everything. I know that there's a lot of women that can perhaps relate or identify to this because we have issues around, relationships that we need to fix. So that's how she came to me in this kind of broken state. And then I said to her, listen, I'm going to give you a challenge. I want you to spend 3 months with me, not doing anything except being still and peaceful and quiet. I'm going to teach you how to be still, peaceful, and quiet. And you have to give me 3 months where you're not moving in anxiety, not moving in how shall I fix my story. You're just going to breathe with me and stay present in the moment and allow healing, allow yourself to discover a different way of being in your mind, in your body, and in your heart. So she came around, she was traveling with me. We were being invited all over. It was wonderful. We're in France, we were in Switzerland, we're in Italy, and she came with me and we were meditating. Exactly 3 months to the sort of like command of these 3 months, she met this amazing man who turned out to be her life partner. They're still together after 23 years. She has created amazing success in her life. She has about like 5 properties, including a sea view, which she created. It's not like her husband had that and he did all. Like, she was the mastermind in all of this. She got a job with a billionaire, one of her first jobs, right? So for people thinking, oh, but you have an opportunity, you had this respect, you had this, I'm telling you, she had nothing. She didn't have that. And she created all of this because of these strategies and these techniques. They're real. The same way you learn how to be a doctor, the same way you learn how to be a nurse, the same way you learn how to be a mom, whatever you're learning and really putting effort and energy into, you can learn how to be unstoppable in being able to co-create with the universe magic, so that, you create a life that is far beyond anything that the small mind can grasp.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack in there. One of the biggest things I want people to really get is, look, there was clarity around one thing. Give me 3 months. And this is not, again, this isn't that it happened by accident. This happens frequently when you do this. When you set out to, I'm just going to be me. I'm going to be, as you said, show up as you is one of my favorite things that I teach, which is, you are beautiful. You're amazing. You have so much power. Noise and stuff got on top and it got in the way. All the masks that you put on. I love what you did with your sister. You said, look, I don't have a plan other than 3 months of you really just being you. And then boom, this thing happens and it turns out to be incredible. But this isn't like the one-off. This is frequent in this line of work, and I want people to understand that. So you mentioned 3 months, Mahima, and I'm thinking, all right, I want better. I'm my audience member right now, and I want better. I want to make, I don't know, you hear 6 figures, this audience would be probably, I want to make that $1 million a year. Okay, that's the idea. And I can't just stop and be silent for 3 months, but maybe I can commit to doing something. What would you say to that person that has family, has responsibilities, has, a business going, and they just can't stop for 3 months, but they can start to do some of this work? What would you suggest?
I would say join my free membership. Okay. That is just like easy peasy peasy. You go there, you click, you put your email, and then you'll get 3 products, which will blow your mind because they're so easy to do. One is my international best-selling book, which people literally say once they start reading it, they can't put it down. They've read it in 24 hours, they've read it in 48 hours, because it's just like, you want more and you just keep reading, right? And that has my 3 steps to inner peace in it. Yeah. Then you can also have access to what I call 7 days reprogram your mind. This is a program where you literally can be doing something else like multitasking while you're listening to part of it. So you could be, riding your bike and listening to it. And then I ask for just 5 minutes of sitting and breathing, and I guide you into this state of understanding the power of the now. And that goes for 7 days. And then another product in there is my 21-day meditation challenge, which I have been told from advanced meditators that this was blowing their mind, because within 15 minutes, I can take you into an altered state where you connect back to your spirit, right? Now, for those of you who are new to meditation, obviously, you might not get that on day 1, but you will, if you continue the 21-day challenge and complete it, you will be more peaceful, centered and grounded after that, right? And it's just 15 minutes a day. So I think that would be a really great start for anyone who's just like, I want to be doing something. You can self-manage it. It's online and it's absolutely free, right? So that I think those 3 tools could be very useful for people. And as I said, the 7 days reprogram your mind is about getting a different perspective on how you see yourself and the world. Because what we're talking about here and what you're talking about, show up as yourself. It's about changing the perspective of how you see yourself, right? How you talk about yourself, how you feel about yourself. And therefore, it's going to change your perspective of how you talk about the world and see the world. And this is so juicy, people. You want to get that shift of perspective. The biggest thing I've learned in this journey is I don't need to suffer, and then die. I don't. Life can be fun. It can be light. It can be playful. And yes, there's shit that happens inside of all of that. But it is my birthright to react the way I feel is appropriate to me. And if you learn how to stay centered and grounded, you just want to do that every day. You want to live from that space and then deal with things from that reality. Now, do I get like out of sorts and can something happen and trigger me? Absolutely, right? But I have the tools and I can go back home at any second that I choose. Okay, I'm done with this now. Right? Enough crying, enough screaming and being angry. Like, come back home. It's so much more fun there, right? So you're less addicted to negativity.
Yeah, the tools. I love that because look, life is going to happen, but it is how you choose to look at it. That whole idea of life is pain and then you die. I don't know who created that, but that's just their perspective. And you guys chose to listen to that. It's just not true unless you choose that. And I love that you said, look, I get out of sorts. I lose myself for a moment. I was out of my routine and I kind of lost my way for a minute, but I have the tools to come back. I just think that it's so important for people to understand that you're a human being. You're going to have messes. That's also beauty. And one of my favorite fables is the monk that the horse runs away, and they say the village is like, oh, you're so unlucky. And he says, we'll see. And then the horse brings back 2 other horses, and now he has 3. And there's like, oh, look how lucky you are. We'll see. And then the son jumps on one of the horse and breaks his leg. Oh, you're so unlucky. You see, and it just continues. And his whole perspective is, look, things happen. It depends how you choose to look at it.
I love that story.
And somebody says it, I can't remember. I've read it many times, and I just
after that, the son is not drafted to go to the war because he broke his leg, and then everyone says, "Oh, see, you're so lucky." So it's just like this unfolding of life, and I want to talk to that point. I think it's very. I have a powerful module of reality that I teach people, which is, I call it the nature of reality. Right. So if you draw a circle and then you cut that circle in half, and on one side you'd put good, and the other side you'd put bad. On the other side you'd put cold and hot, happy, sad, joy, pain. There is a reason why these things exist. They're part of the fabric of life on planet Earth, right? It is designed that way, okay? There's designed that there's love and hate. Like, if there wasn't hate, you wouldn't know love. If there wasn't hot, you wouldn't know cold. Cold wouldn't make sense. Cold makes sense because there's hot. So then you go, oh, hot and cold, I get it, right? Light, if there was just light and no darkness, you wouldn't know light. So darkness is there to kind of show, hey, now it's light. So this is part of the nature of reality on planet Earth. Now, if we could just be okay with that, yeah, if we weren't thinking light is better than dark, hot is better than cold, cold is better than, like, if we weren't making all of these preference distinctions and we were just accepting reality as it is, right there, so much peace is going to come into your life. Yeah, when you are not resisting reality. I want to be happy all the time. Yeah, I want things to go well all the time. Like, that's just not how life is, right? It's great weather, and then there's shitty weather. Okay, so it's the same in your life. There's good times, and when those good times roll in, you better know how to enjoy the good times. Lean in. People are like, ooh, don't get too happy. Don't get it. It might go away. Well, it is going to go away, okay? Because the storm's going to come, right? And you don't know whether the winter's going to last for, 3 days or 3. Yeah. So no, when there's hay, make the sun shine, right? When they say don't make hay while the sun shines. Enjoy when your life is going well. And your life is going well when you're healthy, right? When you're mentally and emotionally well and grounded inside of yourself, because with those 2 things, you can deal with anything, right? So take care of yourself, people. You are the prized possession here, right? And not your, obsession with getting things and getting accolades and getting people to recognize you. And while inside you're unhappy, you're out of balance, you're out of whack mentally, emotionally. So we want to start making sure that we are ready for this journey on the nature of reality, which is that things will come and things will go. And if you don't like this, move to another planet.
So good. I can't believe we've already run up on time. I could talk to you forever. Mahima, you offered so much. Where's the best place for my audience to connect with you online? Find your resources, everything that you have, because I'm getting the book. I'm fired up. She's going to be back as a guest, whether she likes it or not, because
I would love to.
Part of my world now. But where can people find you?
Thank you so much. So it's just so easy. It's the mahimamindset.com. The mahimamindset.com. And I like to make the joke that it's like mama with a hi in between. So in case you're like, how do you spell Mahima? It's mama, and then there's just a hi in between. So the Mahima, MAHIMA mindset.com. And there, if you go to free, then you will get these resources available to you. The 3 things that I said, you just put in your info and we'll send that over to you. So yeah, and of course there's Instagram, which is Mahima Mindset. And Facebook is there too. But you have all of that when you just go to the mahimamindset.com. It will take you to the other places that you want to go to be a part of this amazing conversation. JM, I love your energy. I love what you're about. And I'm just so honored that I could have this opportunity to talk to you today. It's been just such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, because truly I was already having a great day. I'm having an incredible day. You transferred energy somehow through a screen, through your words, and I want everybody to feel that. So thank you, Mahima, for being here. You're incredible.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Guys, give this gift. Give this gift to everyone that you know, because you can feel it. You can feel the energy. It's brilliant. It's beautiful. And it's easy. It's not a struggle. She brings this. I want you to share it with everyone that you know, because we need more Mahima in our life. There's no doubt about it. Go to her website, get the free resources, get her book, change your life for the better in less than a month, 21 days. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So until next time, you guys, remember, show up as your beautiful self. I appreciate you. I love y'all. And I will talk to you very soon. Thank you so much for listening. If this content is delivering value to you, please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review us. That helps us build this community, and that is what we are all about. Building this community as big as we can, helping as many people as we can, and deliver as much value as possible. Be sure to head over to letsgowinpodcast.com for information on my coaching courses, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Let's Go Win 365. Let's go win and transcend in life.
This is the Let's Go Win podcast with your host, J.M. Ryerson.